Es savukārt aicinu tad pie mikrofona mūsu nākamo runātāju. Kā jau es teicu, šī ir unikāla un ļoti, ļoti brīnišķīga iespēja uzklausīt, kā iet mūsu kaimiņiem. Un tagad mums stāsts par Lietuvu, par Lietuvas pieredzi valsts autoceļu uzturēšanā. To mums pastāstīs Via Lietuva Infrastruktūras uzturēšanas nodaļas vadītājs Toms Vičkačka.
Labrīt, labrīt. More than 30 years ago, when Lithuania regained independence, Lithuanian road administration was established, and 2 years ago, this administration was reorganized to joint stock company with the ministry as the main shareholder. And what's changed during those 30 years? Not much. Our duties remain the same, but some core inside process become way easier and more flexible. And as you know, we operate the maintenance under our in-house model, and we have the one and the only contractor who is working across all Lithuania. And this contractor has a similar history. Just in the beginning, there was 11 state-owned companies, which were merged 7 years ago and became a ceļu priežiūra. At this moment, this big company employs more than 2,000 people, which have the main responsibility to carry out maintenance on our road network. So how does our model look from the distance? There includes 3 institutions, where is the top of the line. The first one is Ministry of Transport and Communications, and their role is to shape public policy, coordinate and supervise its implementation across all the sectors, including roads, railways and waterways, also our roads. Below them, there is our organization, and our role is to plan and coordinate reconstructions, network development, and as topic says, maintenance. And because we do not carry out maintenance ourselves, the work done is by others, our responsibility is to define the rules and policies and requirements for the maintenance. And then came the third company, ceļu priežiūra, road maintenance, who is responsible for executing all maintenance works on the roads and ensure safe road conditions. So what about this model? We often are asked whether we have the plans to change the model from the in-house to an open market model. But based on the experience of countries like Latvia did, they also changed the model to the open market. We see that we need significantly more resources for us because we didn't carry out the supervisions at this moment. So we need to hire way more staff. Also, working with one contractor is way easier for us. And with several contractors, it will be more difficult. And one of the main reasons is that we don't know what happened with the money. We don't have proof that if we switch the model to the open market, the rise go down. It could be raised up. So let's move to our network. And as you can see, we have 3 main road categories in the corner. The first one is the main roads, which is mainly in international corridors or inside highways. And below them is national roads, which are connected local areas between those international corridors. And the lowest priority is our regional roads, basically for the local communities to communicate each other. In total, we have more than 21,000 kilometers of roads, which where is 75 paved, and 5,200 kilometers of gravel roads. And the good news is that this number is decreasing every year because we continue to implement some paving programs, and this year is not exceptional. In Lithuania, in this table, you can see we have 5 different maintenance levels, where the level 1 is the highest one and the 5th one is the lowest. But in general, requirements are similar between all those levels. The difference is the response time in emergency situations like pothole repair or some other emergency situations like from the weather. As you can see on the first level, we have only around 700 kilometers, where the most of our road network is maintained in the lowest 5th level, which contributes around 45% of our network, but it also includes gravel roads. And the worth thing to mention that gravel roads grinding is included in our performance-based price. We do not pay extra for our contractor for grinding. It depends on also if the gravel road is destroyed completely, so then we give extra money from periodic maintenance. Also, as I mentioned earlier, we do not carry technical supervision ourselves. It is done by external company, which monitor road condition through the year in all network, and if requirements are not met, they can apply penalties for our contractor. And one of the most important aspect of this topic is the budget. As you know, we pay fixed monthly price for the kilometers, depending on the maintenance level. But I didn't mention exact price in this table for the purpose, because the price depends on the difficulty of the season. If the winter is harsh, the overall price can rise, while the mild winter can reduce the price. However, distribution between those levels remain quite stable in the percent term, like I showed here. And the interesting thing is that in the first level, we have only 3% of our roads, but it contains almost 20% from all the maintenance budget. While in the level 5th, we have 45% of our roads, which is around 9,500 kilometers, but they still remain and takes the same share of our budget like the first one level. And this is mainly because of really strict requirement for the high-level roads in the winter, because the pavement must be almost completely free of snow and ice and all the time of the year. So, looking at the overall budget distribution, around 60% is spent on the winter maintenance. As I mentioned, is because of material spreading and snow removal, and about 20 to 25 goes to routine maintenance, and there is the third part, periodic maintenance, which I think have also in Latvia and Estonia. And periodic purpose is for larger defects repairs, for some extreme events when we have emergency situations in the roads when they are flashed or flooded. Also, this year we got a record high budget, which is 130 million euros. At first glance, this seems like a very strong result for us. We were happy when we heard that. But however, we look at the comparable price chart, which is the blue one, which includes inflation, rising fuel prices, wages. We see that the real buying power is still lower than in 2008, and actually we can do less than 20 years ago. Furthermore, as the very popular topic I heard about Iran events and other events in the East, we see the rising fuel prices, bitumen prices, and just last week I had a moment with the contractor when they say that asphalt prices can reach up to 10% in some specific areas. So the situation is still quite challenging for us. and we expect some difficulties this year, depending on the rises of the prices. And finally, the topic about extreme weather events. Fortunately, in our region, like Latvia, Estonia, Poland, and other countries, we deal mostly with the floods. We do not face earthquakes or tornadoes, but still 2 years ago, we had several roads washed away by the flood, and the main issue was that this location had not been identified as high-risk areas in advance, and we were not prepared for that event. And after that shameful event, we worked with the contractor, municipality, and local communities to create action plan for defining responsibilities for each sector. And as a result, we developed a flood risk map. Basically, it's not like a map, it's another layer on existing map which shows every situations about construction sites and other things. But this year, we had around 50 high-risk areas located on our network, which were monitored more often and more closely. And if flood risk is detected in advance, the contractor was installing warning signs, and if it's necessary, roads could be temporarily closed. At the same time as our organizations try to inform the local municipalities and residents so they can avoid those dangerous areas. Fortunately, this year the situation was much better and flooding was limited, controlled, and only few roads were affected with relatively small repair costs. Maybe in the pictures situations looks worse than it is, but those specific roads are in the area where the floods are all the times in every spring. So nothing extraordinary happened this year. So what about our maintenance policy about the extreme events? We didn't change it from the background. We just made the process better and faster, and also we are looking forward for the implementation for these events that won't happen again. So thanks, that's it from my side today. If you have any questions, this is QR code. You can ask some questions. I will answer them when I will have time. But also, if you have any questions at this moment, I'm ready to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Ačiū. Paldies, paldies. Redz, nu, tāda situācija ir Lietuvā mazliet, it's a kind of relaxing when you hear that our neighbors experience the same problems. What is different? It's the gap between the actual funding and in the numbers. If you had a slide about the financing where you
I can
incomparable
go back.
prices and the same on paper, let's say so. Then, as far as I noticed from yesterday, even in Estonia, where they have doubled the budget for next year, they have still the gap of around 80 million euros, and in Lithuania it was something like 70 million euros. In Latvia, it's far more. It's more than 100 million euros deficit, or even more. Okay, questions, please. Jautājumi no auditorijas, lūdzu. Vičkačkas kungam, jūs varat celt roku, vai tiešām jūs negribat uzzināt?
Want to find out something more about Lithuania. So please, we need a microphone on row number 2, in the row number 2.
I have a question. What is included in periodic road maintenance in Lithuania?
In periodic specific, it's included almost everything what we need. There is no specific rules for that. As I mentioned, we can resolve some emergency situation when the road is closed due to some accident or bridge damage. So you cannot predict the specific field which price you need to include in the periodic. So basically, as I mentioned in the first, you can do whatever you want. There also are some rules. They are strict in the volume of the emergency, but if we need, we sometimes paved, sometimes put a new pole or repair some bus stations, and that's it.
A question also about the new system that you developed through the years. What are the main disadvantages and advantages of the system that you built from several enterprises to this new system about this via...
About weather systems or?
No, this from 92 years administration
What's the
system.
difference?
What is called Via Lietuva today?
Yeah.
For
Yes.
Via Lietuva, I think it's more the flexibility to hire people, to pay more, better price, better wages for us, like workers, and it is easier for the ministry to control because we take more responsibilities from them. Also, we can decide either some strict rules for the maintenance, how we determine the maintenance levels. When we were administration, it was harder.
Answered, right? More or less.
Kind of.
Okay, yeah. But you can scan the QR code if you could show it one more time.
I will show you. You can send me questions.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ačiū, paldies liels.